it doesn't matter if it's a shoestring budget or $1,000,000. I've still got to make it look like R1,000,000 because my reputation and my name is attached to the event. So sometimes if they've got a small budget, they actually end up getting a really good deal because I bend over backwards. It just means a little bit more work from my side. And obviously I will advise the client and say, look, these are the things you absolutely have to have and you can't do without, and here's the shopping list of the extras that you may want to use. Look, you pay for what you get at the end of the day. If it's ridiculously impossible to try and match their expectations with the budget they've got, then I turn the work down. Because unfortunately, like I said, my name and my reputation is at stake. And people, just exactly like the baby shower, everyone was like, wow, amazing, you're so fantastic. I had a decent budget. Of course it looked fantastic. But when someone gives you 50 Rand per head canapé amount versus 175 Rand a head, there's going to be a difference. And that's why the event was so incredible, purely because there was slightly more budget involved. So yeah, it doesn't actually always help to take accounts with smaller budgets, because you're only as good as your last event, and people do judge you by that. They don't turn around and go, well, the client never paid or anything. They literally just see from the aesthetic side of things and will say that was a bit of an epic fail. So basically my tip would be, if you do land up going with a wedding coordinator at the venue, just be assured you don't have to work with their suggestions. You can actually come up with something else that's unique that you actually want. I'd say the rustic chic look is kind of faded. We don't see much of that. It's very opulent, a lot of different heights, flowers levitated from the ceiling. Lighting is plays a huge role in creating the ambiance, and generally speaking, color seems to be in at the moment. Look, and table decor is very important. It's not just about having candelabras and candles and flowers. There's now beautiful little ornaments that people mix on tables and really make it quite spectacular.
And more personalized touches.
More personalized, yeah.
And do you think brides are wanting to wow everyone, or is it more understated? South African brides, that is.
I think it's more understated now. It used to be, but lately it's more understated.
Less is more.
Yeah. I find that it's like it literally becomes about the bride and the groom and maybe, like two friends that they take with. What my advice would be is to have an amazing engagement party where you invite everyone that you want, and you do some bubbles and some canapes and you have a DJ. And this way everyone feels like they're part of your special day. And then you can go with 12 people and go up to Mauritius, because who's really got more than like 10, 12 friends that are their real friends? And you have your wedding, but you're not upsetting anyone, because they've had a big party with you, and they've felt special, they've felt like part of it. So that would be my advice. I think for people who are having their second marriage or getting married later in life, I'd say 30 is a nice amount of people. But when they're younger, I'd say 70 people would be a nice number. I wouldn't want to go less than 50, because 20% of those people will actually land up leaving the wedding early, and then unfortunately you're not left with much of a party with 20 people on the dance floor. So I'd say between 50 and 70 people. Try not to go less when you're a young couple. Personally, I am a mother of an 8-year-old. I think unless you've got a budget to really pull out all the stops and have childminders, and not just one, a few, to look after children. Otherwise, it's not very it lands up being stressful for the mothers there because they keep wanting to check up. Because I mean, I'm a neurotic mom. You know, I won't trust someone else looking after my child all night. And so you really need to be able to have a decent budget to make sure that the kids are contained, that there's videos on, there's entertainment, there's food for them. So yeah, I think personally try and avoid it if you can, unless there's a big budget involved. I don't think they'll regret it. I think they're going to get a lot of flack from their families because auntie so and so that's 3 times removed, or cousins, and you know that aren't blood cousins anymore, that are expecting to be at the wedding. They're the ones that are going to be more upset than the actual bridal couple. I think go for it. You know, if that's what they want, that's what they need to do. And like I said, throw a nice engagement party. Make sure everyone's invited to that, and then you making everyone happy. I think if someone's decided to elope, they're actually trying to avoid that whole big wedding.
Drama.
Yeah. Often what I land up doing close to the wedding is I tell the bride that they must just tell all their friends or bridesmaids to liaise with me directly. So to divert her calls onto me so that she can have peace of mind and not have to have any stress or drama. And then I will very happily, politely tell them that that is not on the agenda and that we will be going to a spa and having pedis and manis and facials and champagne. So I like to take the stress away from a bride by doing as much as I possibly can, and I don't mind being the bossy Bertha. I'd say 90% of the times when a bride starts acting out and you think that they're having a bridezilla moment, it's not them personally, it's actually family that are getting involved and being controlling and taking over the show. That is what's putting pressure on them, and then actually it puts pressure on the groom and the bride. So it's my job to try and be a mediator, and because I'm an outsider, it's easier for me to talk to the mother-in-law or the mother, father, whoever it is. And like I said, my client is the bride and the groom. So I don't mind if someone's not going to be, like me that much after I politely tell them that they need to kind of back off. But yeah, it's always the families that are causing the stress. People like that, they just take control. They want to do everything, and then they start putting pressure on you because they want you to invite X, Y, Z, and so, and before you know it, it becomes their guest list, and not the bride and groom's.